Okay, today we're going to do some rounding to significant figures. Similar skills to what we've done before with rounding, so rounding to the nearest whole number, nearest 10, or to decimal places. Sometimes people get a bit confused with significant figures, but it's actually the most useful type of rounding because it works for large numbers or small numbers. It works for any type of number. So all you have to do is realize where we're rounding it. So I'm going to start with rounding to one significant figures, or one sig fig, or sometimes called one SF. So when you round to one significant figure, you simply round to the first digit of the number. So the first significant figure in this number is the 4 out of 4,319. So for one significant figure for this number, I'm simply rounding to the nearest thousand. When I'm rounding to one significant figure, there should only be one digit that isn't 0. So for this one, I'm rounding to one significant figure. So that's the number in the tens column. So it's like rounding to the nearest 10. So that is going to be 70. I don't have to put the numbers after the decimal point, but I do have to fill in the spaces to the left of the decimal point with zeros. Otherwise, this 7 won't longer have the value of 70, which it must have. It must have the same place value. The only slight exception to starting with the first digit is when the first digits are zeros. So when we're rounding to one significant figure, we start rounding at the first digit that isn't 0. So in that case, that will be here, the second decimal place, or the nearest hundredth. So this will be like rounding to 2 decimal places to one significant figure. So it's 0.03. Notice that in all these numbers, there is only one digit that is not a 0. So that's to one significant figure. Two significant figures work in the same way, except this time we round it to the second significant figure, so we have a slightly higher degree of accuracy. So this one, the second digit here, second significant figure is in the hundreds column, so it's like rounding to the nearest 100, so that's going to be 4,400. The rules of rounding still apply. If the next digit is 5 or above, it will round up. If the next digit is less than 5, it will stay the same. So here with this one, the second significant figure is in the tens column, the one decimal place column. So round it to one decimal place. I use the 7 to tell me that that's going to round up to 1.5. This one, the second significant figure, is also in the tens column here. So once again, I'm round to one decimal place. So it's going to be 7.5. Notice, as with one significant figure, with two significant figures, when we've rounded it, there are two digits that are not 0. Three significant figures is a very common one. We often use three significant figures to round our answers to a suitable degree of accuracy. So three significant figures, we round at the third figure. In this case, the third figure arrives in the thousandth column. So we round to the nearest thousand, which will be 295,000. Very important that you fill in the gaps with zeros, otherwise the place value will go wrong, as mentioned before. With this one, third significant figure, that's the first. Once we've had a significant figure, zeros do count. So I've got the first, the second, and the third significant figure. So I'm going to round it off here, which is actually the tenths, hundredths, thousandth, 10,000th column, or the fourth decimal place. And that 7 here will make that this rounds up to 0.0404. This one, the third significant figure, first, second, third, is in the tenths column. So I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, or one decimal place. This 7 will cause this 9 to round up, and of course that 9 can't round up to a 10, so it goes to the next column. So this one will round up to 24.0. I must put the 0.0 on to show that I've rounded to three significant figures, otherwise it will look like I've only rounded to 2. Like I said before, two significant figures, there were 2 digits. One significant figure, only 1 digit. Three significant figures, there'll be 3 digits, but one of them could be 0 trapped between or at the end, like these two examples here.